Hello everybody, welcome back to the Pro 1 League for the Mature Racing Club Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship. As alluded to in the previous video, which was a low quality live stream, hopefully that was okay. And it's vanished apparently, so I need to hopefully rescue it from somewhere. Anyway, it's race number 2, so this is a reverse grid race. So we take the results from the first race, tip them upside down, i.e. alien-like Infinity decal starts at the back. So he's got a lot of work to do this race if he wants to rescue some points out of it. Same as last time, so half an hour, a little bit of tyre wear to worry about, but the important thing with this one is this is everyone's own car, so we'll have a little bit of a rattle through and just check what everyone's got. I'll need a different view. So Mr. Piper has a VW Sirocco, suspiciously using probably the same livery used in the Thursday Night League on this one, but we won't say anything about that. Darkest one's gone for the Megane. The Megane actually is the OP car for this track, so hopefully he's not just picked it for this track, because it might be a little bit trash at others, but it's a good car for this track. JC in the BMW, a good car, that BMW. Tim's in the Lexus. We've got Zaf in the Audi, expect to see a lot of this car. Mung's in the Porsche Cayman. Mr. Rear Wheel is in the Peugeot RCZ, another very good FF car. Cheat Cheat is in the Audi. Raffo is in the McLaren. Walmid's in the Audi. CJW-Racing in the McLaren. I just had to look at his number plate then. Surf Rev's in the Sirocco. Myself, I'm in the Audi, and so is Infinity Decal. So let's get on with the race. 30 minutes brand hatch GP. So the FF cars, the front wheel drive cars, aren't going to get away well here, so that's Piper on the front row, worth watching. And they all get away. Mung makes a flyer of a start, immediately gets past Tim. JC here is going to be contesting for the lead pretty much straight away as Piper slots down to third. We've got a car off. That's actually the pole sitter. That was the darkest one. What happened here? Oh, he just went too wide and got a bit. Went for a visit to Blackpool Beach. So unfortunately, that's going to put him right at the back of the grid. Meanwhile, right at the top, I've got JC, Mung, Tim. Oh, there's a car off again. It's Carnage here. That's Surfer Rev that's off. What's happened to Surfer? I want to guess he just failed his braking point coming up to Druids. That does happen. So he's tucked up behind Rear Wheel Man. Yeah, I guess he just brakes late. It was sort of lucky for Surfer in a way that he managed to find a gap to slot his car into so that he didn't take anyone out. So good driving in fairness to Surfer after. Back to the top, we've got Dave Piper has reasserted his dominance at the front of the field in that VW Sirocco. That car will go very well around here. Then we've got JC. P2 at the minute getting hassled by Mung. We've got Tim in the Lexus, he's P4 with Zaf, P5, Chi-Chi, Raffo, Infinity Decals, Rear Wheel Man, Walmid, myself, CJW-Racing, Surf having the darkest one. Have both had offs so far, so don't expect to see too much. Oh, Chi-Chi's off. It's all going off this time. What's happened to Chi-Chi? This is helmet cam for Cheech. So the line's fine. Does he run it wide? Yeah, I think he does. Just gets the back end just snaps away from him. Took Raffo with him, I'm afraid. That has helped me out. I've pretty much come from the back of the grid. I'm currently following Walmid, Rear Wheel Man and Infinity Decals. We're all in FF, so we all need to try and catch up to this pack here. We're starting to storm away a little bit. So at the minute, Piper's getting a really good lead actually. Look at that already. JC's still getting a bit of pressure from Mung. Tim and Zaf are starting to have a good battle as well. Then there's a big gap back to Infinity Decals, Rear Wheel, Walmid, and I'm just about in that fight. And then CJW-Racing's behind me in the McLaren. So we'll have another little look through the liveries. We'll have a jump on board with a car as well in a little bit, and we'll get a bit of an idea of what Brands Hatch is all about. But for the time being, early days, it is a VW winning the way. Good fight here though for third. It's between Mung, Tim and Zaf. Tim's got the inside line. Mung's going to try and hold it around the outside of the Porsche Cayman. It's got good traction, that car. He has managed to hold it. That's a good bit of defensive driving there by Mung. Infinity Decals is starting to pull away from our little scrap now. We've got rear wheel, Warmid and myself. I'm stuck behind these two guys, so even if I wanted to make a move, Brandhatch is too narrow to get any moves made really. So unless someone goes off, overtaking at this back part of the course is very difficult. So it tends not to happen too much unless you have got a significant advantage over the other car. A little bit further up, that battle for third still going on. Tim's ahead of Zaf, but Zaf's looking to change that now. Zaf in the Audi will have better pace at this stage of the race because the Audi on fresh tyres is next to unbeatable. And once tyre wear kicks in, it does start to even itself out. It's just about keeping the car in the battle until that point really. Further back of the cars that have all had incidents, so these guys now just need to try and recover the race. Kind of fortunately it happened early on because they've got plenty of time left in this race to recover something out of it, so it's not an all hope is lost situation. There's plenty of time, and with a track like Brandhatch, as we see with Tim, it's easy to make mistakes and just run a little bit wide. Tim, I think, got away with that. He did lose a position to Zaffarino. Saying he got away with that, he's just bounced himself into the wall. Oh, just at the edge of Graham Hill. That's, yeah, he just lost it. Yeah, they tried to put the power down when he was on the grass. Fortunately, he's ghosted, so he doesn't take any other cars out. But yeah, that's chucked him back down to 10th. That'll leave a little bit of a gap then. So you can see just how much D10 Piper. He's starting to just storm away. We're only on lap number 3. We're just about 4 minutes into this race, and he's already a couple of seconds up the road. Jace is starting to break away from Mung a little bit. Infinity Decals has caught up to these guys, and then there is that gap then, that little gap back to Warmid, rear wheel and myself. Obviously I'm trying to get past rear wheel here, but we're in similar cars in terms of the car's ability. I have a little bit better initial traction on him, and then the Peugeot's got better top end, so it's very hard to make a move on that Peugeot. And try and go up the insides. Fortunately for me, he does run wide there. Let's just go back and have a look. So we'll just jump on board roof cam. Rear wheel, yeah, just doesn't quite hook the apex up and goes wide, and then big beefy boy Audi can make his way through, so that should get me up to P7 from the back of the grid. Not too bad, not too bad. So battle for second then. JC having a penalty. That means he ghosts, and cars can just drive straight through, but he has burnt that penalty now, so 6 of one half dozen the other. This little pack is starting to close up a little bit now. The only person who's really making a getaway is we just see Tim run wide again. The only person managing to get away here is Piper, as Darkest One just has another little off there. Yeah, the only one escaping here is Piper, who's just running away at the top of the field now. Mung and Zaf fighting away for second position. Zaf in the Audi's gonna have better speed. That Audi is really good in the high downforce corners. It is able to just sweep around the outside of the Cayman. So a nice move by Zaf actually. I'm going to go back and have a look at that. That's overtaking the weak territory, that by Zaffarino. Well, I probably rewound it a little bit too far, but you'll see the Audi's just got better pace in terms of a straight line than the Porsche. Pretty much side by side, and Zaf just holds his nerve on the outside there, and keeps his place. So this second to, what are we saying, second to 9th is there or thereabouts, all in one little bit of track. It is pretty much anyone's race to win at this point in time. Infinity Decals, myself and Sir Forever, we were the top 3 from the last race. So in terms of that, Infinity Decals has made the better start out of all of us, holding P5 at the minute. And he's looking to make a move on JC. I've had some traffic problems, so I've struggled with that. you just don't want to lunge down the inside of anyone at Brands Hatch. You just don't want to cause that. But here on Warm Mid, I do poke out. Sorry, me and Dave are fighting. He defends that. I thought it was another car. You have to be certain a move's going to be doable before you attempt it at a track like this, because it's certain death. Let's have a look at some liveries then. We did this last time. We might as well have a look at what sort of cars people are driving. So, Mr. Piper in their Power Maxed Fast R liveried Sirocco. Zaf, very similar colour scheme to... There's a bit of battling going on behind. That's me and JC. Oh, what's happening here? Let's jump on board with JC. So I'm behind. So I've got the better exit. I'm alongside. Yeah, it was just contact at corner really. I was there, so I feel I had a right to be there. Anyway, yeah, where were we with the liveries? Yeah, Zaf, similar colour scheme to the last livery we saw him do. So Vex forearm, Budweiser livery, Mung, Cayman, so I'm guessing it's matte black. Yeah, ooh, it's a bit more, no, it's glossy that one. It's lovely and glossy that one for a time, for the change. Warm Mid in the TT, going for the yellow and blue Michelin colours. Infinity decals, he loves a good livery, he does. Let's have a look what he's rocking. It's nice that, Dave, very nice. Myself rocking the PlayStation one, although I've just literally slapped a PlayStation sticker on the side of a car that I just wanted to design anyway, basically. So yeah, sod you. Rear wheel in the electric blue Samsung. CJW-Racing Quick Fit, I think CJW-Racing drives for, is it? No, it's Michelin, my bad. Nice looking McLaren, that. Surf Rev in the gold bronze Quick Fit car. Then Tim's got the HKS Lexus. I like the little green accents above the wheel arches, they have a nice little touch then. Then we've got Raffo, he's in the Reggie Sauce McLaren, very in your face, and then JC in the BMW. Oh, Wall's lost it. He's took out a brake marker for good measure. So this is the point where the tyres, you start to feel it. He's just run a little bit wide, and doing that at Brands Hatch is certain death. And he comes on track just next to rear wheelman and CJW-Racing. So trying to get his elbows out to defend his position, but he has lost the position to me and Dave, who are running 4th and 5th. At this point in the race, me and Dave are pretty much nip and tuck. So I remember us having a really good battle here. We're in the same car, don't forget, so similar car, similar sort of pace. I'll try and go for a move around the outside. I've got a penalty, so obviously I can't overtake him at the minute. So I need to get rid of that penalty before I can actually launch an attack on him. So you'll have noticed I tried to burn some during that corner, it didn't really work. I've got Warm Mid behind me. Is there any battles going off? There isn't really. We've got JC in the pits. Is there any battles going off? Oh no, there's me and Dave. So I burned my penalty here. Just makes sense to sort of do it while I'm on a downhill bit. So that drops me back from Dave by a couple of attempts, but I can start to push again now. So we're at 10-minute mark. Mr. Piper, what's your gap? He's already got 6.5 seconds to Zaffarino. Now Zaf's having to defend here to Mung. Mung is attacking him. I would expect most cars in it around the 15-minute mark. We're about 4 minutes away from that happening. Most cars will come in and just change boots at that point. I didn't actually feel like the TT's tyre wear was that bad. Zaffarino was very early pit stop there. I didn't feel like the TT's tyre wear was that bad. I wasn't using traction control or any of that nonsense. I was just just driving it and just trying to be careful with the throttle and the braking. So only really Druids was I ever fully braking. The rest of the corners I was just modulating the brake and the throttle just to make sure I wasn't absolutely burning the so only like 20-30% braking there, but no, get around the outside of Dave. Then I do run a little bit wide. So let's have a little look at that. So Dave does well here to hold that position on the outside. I am ahead at this point. There's a little bit of contact at the corner, but that's to be expected. We're running side by side through a very narrow corner, and he's able to just get a really good exit and slip back through. So good defensive driving there by Dave. We both live to fight another day in third and fourth. And we weren't really being caught by the guys behind either. A nice little battle going on here between Rear Wheel and CJW-Racing. Rear Wheel in theory at this part of the track should absolutely steamroll pretty much everything else on circuit. That Peugeot though, just, I don't know, I think all round the TT is just a better car. The Peugeot's got a trump, a trump card with its top speed, but there's not realistically that many tracks where you're going to be able to utilise that. So the TT's probably a better all-rounder, I think anyway. Oh, a little battle between GT Raffo and Zaffarino here. Zaf gonna go up the inside. Oh, I'm glad he got that move made before the corner. Oh, and we've got CJW-Racing off as well. So CJW-Racing is following Rear Wheel man. Oh, he just touches a rear wheel on the grass on the entry to the corner, and that's it. He's gone agricultural all of a sudden. GT Raffo's got a little bit of a penalty, so obviously he's got to burn that, and they can't overtake while he's got it. Piper's pulled out an incredible lead. Infinity Decal's still defending like a champion to me. One mid in Surfer Ev starting to fight. Now don't forget Surfer Ev halfway through lap one was right at the back of the field. So his pace at this stage in the race pretty frightening that he's able to climb up as he has done. You can see Raffo's trying to burn a little bit of that penalty. Yeah, the field spread a little bit now though. We've got a few gaps between cars. Oh, I'm past Dave. How did that happen? Let's go have a look back. Oh, I remember this. I remember now. I got a really good exit out of Graham Hill and just yeeted one up the inside. So that's me up to third. Although it remains to be seen if Infinity Decals is going to go on the attack. He chooses not to here. This part of the circuit not really suitable for overtaking. It can be done, we've seen it happen, moves can be made, it's not an issue. If you've got a significant speed sort of difference between the two cars, it can quite easily be done, but it's risky. Put it this way, it's very risky doing that. You don't see a lot of it happening in the real world really, unless you go to like the GT guys and they don't really care what anyone else thinks. Raffo's still got that penalty. Oh, he's off track as well. He's picking up some extra dirt to go with the rubber on that car. Piper then, as we approach the pit stop phase, he is 7.2 seconds clear of the next car, which is Mung. Mung's coming under attack from me. I throw one down the inside. Let's have a look at that again. So credit to Mung, he saw that coming. Like some drivers would have turned in for that corner and it would have been an accident, but I credit Mung's awareness here because he knew I was there, he knew I was going to go for the move, and he sort of allowed the space and allowed for the TT's typical understeer. So good driving by Mung. It wasn't my finest move in terms of overtaking finesse, but when you race with good drivers you can sort of pull those things off and not worry about getting yeeted off the circuit, I think. So some good driving there. Mung does go off the circuit though. That might let Mr. Infinity Decals have a pop at him. Not close enough at this time, but you can just get a sense that Porsche's tyres, they're starting to really affect him at the minute. Yeah, he's got pretty severe tyre wear as well on that Porsche. I thought it held on to him a lot better than it did, but us in the TCs have really good rear stability at this stage in the race because we've got practically no rear tyre wear at all. Whereas Mung, he's starting to feel it. So any right-hand turn at the minute for Mung is a very disastrous area because he's got no, basically he's got no lateral grip. For myself, my tyres still felt fine. I was planning on pitting anyway because I knew I couldn't no-stop it, but I actually didn't feel like I was losing any pace on these tyres. So I'm going to be pitting. Mr. Piper, I'm sure it's Dave Piper, I'm going to call him Mr. Piper anyway. So Mr. Piper comes into the pits. I'm going to do the same thing. Infinity decals and Mung are staying out, so is Surf Rev, so is Rear Wheel, and so is Zaf. So short pit lane at Brands Hatch again, so I'm already back out in 6th, behind Zaffarino. And we've got Walmid out of the pits as well. Sayer X6 still running around in 9th. Tim has pitted, I think, because he's got very fresh tyres, and then we've got JC. He is at the back this time round. So Mr. Piper, what's your lead? It's not much, I don't know, in fact it's been shrunken down because Infinity Decals hasn't pitted yet. So Infinity Decals, Mung, Surfer, Rear Wheel, all on the no pit crew. I've just got myself past Zaffarino on fresher tyres. That's a pretty easy move, although I'll be honest, Zaf's tyres aren't that old. I think he pitted a couple of laps ago, so he's just got a little bit more wear on them. Oh yeah, he did. He pitted after 10 minutes, didn't he? So he's been on these tyres for like 5 or 6 laps now. Me on fresh ones, and I've gone on to super softs as well, just to see what they're like. Right, so we'll see if these guys decide to pit. I think a lot of them will peel off into the pits now, especially the TTs. Infinity Decals will pit here, looking at that tyre. Yeah, he's in. Mung's going to carry on. The Surfer pits as well, so does Rear Wheel. So that leaves Mr. Piper, who is now going to the end of the race. He's at the top and he is pretty clear. So he's 3 seconds ahead of Mung, and I'm 2 seconds behind Mung, so he's got a 5-second lead over me. He's next realistic competitor, so there's a 5-second gap with 13 minutes to go. I've obviously got to get past the Porsche unless he pits, which I'm not sure if it will. Zaf is also in the fight as well, holding P4 at the minute. Not too far behind me, but he's gonna have some tyre issues at the end of the race. Infinity Decals P5, then he'll probably reel Zaf in, I'd imagine, towards the closing stages of the race, especially in the next 5 minutes or so when Zaf's tyres start to fall off a cliff. Same with Surfer. That VW is a pacey car around here, and then we'll see what happens with the rest of the guys towards the end of the race. So I have navigated my way past Mung. If I remember rightly, he was on chat and he pretty much invited me through on a corner because his tyres were shot. So he's going to come in at this on this lap and pit, I think. Yeah, so that's Mung in the pit, or aka Ross Brawn's in the pits now. Pro 1 guys will know what I mean. Right, so gap between me and Mr. Piper, 4.2 seconds is the gap. Let's jump on board for a lap actually, so we're chasing him down. We've just started one. So Brands Hatch, classic British circuit. Turn 1, an almost off camber left hander. The circuit drops away from you at the apex as well, so you've got to be careful to hook that apex up. Don't run wide, you will run wide on exit. Brake at the Palmer Bridge and trail brake all your way in. Druids again is the only corner where heavy braking is really required. Down to Graham Hill, then little job of the brakes. This is just to get the front end rotated and then start to pick up the throttle again as soon as you hit that left hand apex. Down towards Surtees, look for the one board. brake just after it, just to stab with the brakes again, and use the engine braking of the car to slow the car around the corner, and again back on the throttle as soon as you pass that white line on the circuit. Down Pilgrim's Drop. Again, looking for the one board left hand side. I'm braking a little bit before that. Again, just a jab of the brakes, and I like an early apex there. I don't know why, I just always drive it a little bit better. Again, the one board on the left hand side. Cut the curb here, as long as you don't get all four wheels off the red and white curb, you're fine. And then up to Sheen curve. Again, the one board on the right hand side. Take the curb, be careful not to run wide on the left, or you will visit the shadow realm. Through the left hander again, you can get two wheels on the grass there, and that will guide you around the corner. Cut that curve then, braking at the one board, and just letting the rotation of the downshift help you through onto the main straight for another lap of Brands Hatch GP circuit. So that's actually fastest lap of the race so far, 28.2. I will note at this point I was just getting used to the Audi TT. Not done any laps on this circuit in this car at all, so just sort of getting used to it. Vinny Decal, someone who looks like he's similar in experience with the TT, only having covered 94 miles in the car. So Fev's done 350 in that VW, so he should be getting used to it by now. And Warmid's done nearly 1,000 laps in that TT, so he should know that car quite well. So him and Rear Wheel is a battle to watch. Mung's out of the pits now on some fresh rubber. He's going to have the freshest tyres out of everyone towards the end of the race, really. He's pitted last, so he's on fresh rubber. Zaffarino, has he pitted again? He's 2 stops. Zaffarino's pitted again, he has. So yeah, Zaff's alright, he's got fresh tyres, but he's not got track position. Is he going to launch an attack on Mungino? No, Rossbourne lives to fight another day. And then Raffo, CJW-Racing, Tim and JC are just trying to recover something out there at the lap. JC again is showing some really good pace. He could potentially catch Tim here. Sorry, not Tim's. Yeah, Tim and CJW-Racing. In fact, no, that's wrong, because JC spent about 4 years in the pits. He's only on lap 9. Right, Mung v Zaffarino. Does anything happen this time around? No, but they are catching the guys ahead. I've took another couple of attempts out of the guys ahead, so 5th to 8th, covered by just a couple of car lengths. Zaffarino goes for a look up the inside of Mungino. Mung's going to hang on in there. Porsche got a good out of corner traction that time, and that's good defensive driving from Mungino. What's the gap then? It was 4 point something, wasn't it? 2.5 now, so I'm now setting mid 28 laps. Piper's in 29s. He has picked up the pace a little bit though. It was in the 30s, so he's starting to put his foot down a little bit. But I'm slowly reeling him in. With about 7.5 minutes to go. All to play for. Of course, it's catching the guy and then it's getting past the guy. They're two very different things. So even if I get right on his backside, yeah, I'm still going to overtake. And it's not a slow car. And I am burning my tyres by going as quick as I am as well. So it's a trade-off, I'm afraid. In terms of action on track, the one thing I'd like to keep an eye on is this little battle for 5th. It doesn't look like a battle at the minute, but once we start to see tyre wear creep in, it's a case really of who manages the tyres better between Walmid, Rear Wheel and Zaff for me. Oh, and Mung, sorry, Mung's there. He's doing similar sort of lap times, similar phases of the race. With the time remaining, it might count it down to an accident having to happen, but yeah, we'll see how that one pans out, I'm sure. Right, Mr. Piper. So looking back from the Sirocco, then his rear camera view every now and again will just include an Audi TT. Just trying its damn hardest to reel the Volkswagen in. So the two German manufacturers are going trying to go head to head here at this classic British race circuit. There's brake marker boards all over the circuit, which Mr. Piper is kindly getting rid of for me. Yeah, so we've got 6 minutes remaining. So in the words of Muse, time is running out. I have dropped Infinity decals though, which is good news for me. After the pit stops, he's just dropped back a little bit. I think him waiting to pit hurt his times, because he was doing sort of like mid-30s while I were knocking in 28s, so I was just able to pull that gap a little bit. And when my tyres go a bit later on, it'll probably be too late for him to mount an attack, so that's my hope anyway. That was my theory behind pitting when I did. There is some science behind extending his stint, but I think in a 30-minute race you might as well just do it bang at 15 minutes. It makes the most sense. Right then, so this battle is starting to creep up. The gap that was 4 point something seconds is now 1.2 seconds. I am within slipstream range now of Mr. Piper. The next 5 minutes are going to be very interesting for us both. I have caught up. I've now got to start to plan a move. So at this point in the race, I'm looking at his lines, I'm looking where he's braking, I'm looking where potentially he's understeering. And I'm just taking a couple of laps just to try and suss him out. So I can tell he's really good through Sheen Curve. He hooks that up really nicely. Hooks not Graham Hill, that whatever that corner called, he hooks that up nicely. But I do start to see a vulnerability, I believe, into turn 1 that I'm thinking I'm going to exploit. No, it's into Clark Curve as well actually. So any long sweeping right-hander, I do start to see that I've got a little bit of an advantage, because that VW just starts to understeer a little bit, and the Audi just seems a little bit more hooked up. So I'm in range, but I'm going to bide my time. I've got 4 minutes left to make this move, yet another handful of laps. Meanwhile, Infinity Decals is starting to pull a little bit more of a gap over Surfer Ev. Surfer's got to do something. He's got fresher tyres than Infinity Decals. He's got to make that advantage count in the next few minutes. They are both far enough away from Walmid, Zaf and Rear Wheelman in order for that to really take effect, but Rear Wheelman at the minute having just set a 28.9 personal best lap of the race, as opposed to the 30.1 set by the Audi TT ahead of him. Rear Wheelman is well and truly on a mission. Munger's dropped back a little bit. I think he just fell out of the toe. We've got GT Raffo. He's not too far behind, but he's kind of out of the fight at this minute in time. Sayrex is holding P10 still, with Tim in 11th, and then JC is 12th. Right, back up to the fight for the top spot then. It is me versus Dave Piper. We are neck and neck. Goes defensive here. I haven't really got a way past at this point, but I could try and use the exit advantage. It didn't really come to anything in the end. I must say his defensive driving was applaudable. I was plainly on a charge. I wanted that first position spot, and he defended very nicely through that last lap. But I have got a run on him into 30s, and unexpectedly got the move made at a corner I wasn't remotely expecting to do it. So let's just have a look at how that panned out. So yeah, I wasn't planning on this move happening, it just kind of happened. So I'll take it nice and steady through it, and I'll just get a better exit. So I get a little bit of an excited wee going on, stick myself up the inside of 30, similar sort of move to the one I made earlier on, and up the inside I go, and the Audi's initial traction means I can get a little bit of a pull straight away on Mr. Piper, although he will want his P1 back. He's held P1 since the flag dropped, since the lights went out, sorry, and 2 minutes from the end it's been cruelly taken away from him by some idiot in an Audi. So he'll be wanting that back, so he's going to be trying to give me some pressure then throughout this next couple of laps. We're at 28 minutes. This is pretty much going to be the penultimate lap, I think. We'll have to see what the times are saying when we come across the line. This battle here is still raging on, so it's Warmid versus Zaf versus Rear Wheel. Any of these guys really could take that P5 spot. Warmid is surviving, Zaf is surviving the onslaught from Rear Wheelman, who's really been piling the pressure on the Audi up ahead. To the point he's forcing him narrow through turn 1. That's going to affect the Audi's exit speed. He tucks himself back up the inside as Rear Wheelman gets a good drive out. He's technically got a nose in. Does he go for the move? I think Zaf's going to try and defend that. He does defend it. Good defending there by Zaffarino. That fighting's letting Mung come back into the battle a little bit. Let's crunch up to the top. So the fight between myself and Mr. Piper has settled a little bit now. I've got a little bit of a gap to the VW without having to drive defensive, so I can now just drive my lines and my race. Infinity Decals and Surfer Rev still having a little bit of a fight, but again, similar to that, there's enough of a gap that Infinity Decals doesn't have to worry about defending. We are now 10 seconds away from the end, so this is going to be the last lap, I think. Yeah. So the final lap count is about to appear. And that's it, final lap, so 20 laps of Brands Hatch, and I take the win for race number 2. D10 Piper joins me on the podium, and so does just about Infinity Decals. Let's go back and have a look at this, because that got really close at the end. So this is on board with Surfer Rev. Oh yeah, he misses the apex, and that costs him loads on his exit speed. Fortunately, he had enough of a gap, I think, so that Surf Rev didn't have a proper good run on him, but he just missed the apex, and that slowed his exit down dramatically. But Infinity Decals does grab a third and a double podium for the first race this season. Surf Rev 4th, Warmid 5th place for Warmid. What happened to Zaffarino at the end? Ran it wide. Set into last corner, he's run it wide. That's going to let Rear Wheelman through. He's got a ton of tyre wear now. He's gone deep as well at Clark Curve, and that might let Mung have a little bit of a run at him. Indeed it does. So Warmid 5th, Rear Wheel 6th, Mung 7th, Zaf 8th, he'll be gutted with that. Raffo 9th, he'll be disappointed. In fact, all these boys at the back will be disappointed, because it's they've made a mistake and it's punished them. Sayorexic 10th, Tim 11th, and JC's going to come home 12th in the end. Thanks for watching.